Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. How is all the ladies this morning? We had an issue that arose over the evening. Um and this issue is a reported domestic violence call to the Wells. Now, I am not here to condone any sort of domestic violence, whether it be woman against man or man against woman or, human against dog, dog against human, you know, anything. Corner of the couch against human, like nothing. And this is a systemic issue, seemingly in this case. There's a lot of us Americans that have dipped into other people's lives and put pressures and added to dynamics and taken away from dynamics. And what we have to understand is at the end of the day, this situation is only in God's hands. It's not for us to judge it. It's not for us to try to interpret it in any way. It is only one thing to do. You stand for domestic violence or you stand against it. And I stand against it. But what I will have you know, that I do not stand in the gap for anyone that domestically abuses a partner, or anybody domestically. Like, it's not what we do. Now, I've been a victim of domestic violence. I've been involved with a woman in my past that just was very abusive, very, very abusive. Um, so I do want to share something with you ladies this morning, and it is a portion. I do not know if it is the video in its entirety or the situation in its entirety. I do want to mention the Fair Use Act. Um, the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that may otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips and balance in favor of fair use. So let's just take a look at it. We can do without the music. We get the point. Hawkins County Sheriff, 911 call at Wells residence. Candace Bly reported Don Wells for domestic assault last week. Police reports reveal. According to a domestic report from the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, officers were called to the Wells residence around 12:30 a.m. on January 19th in reference to an open 911 line. On their way to the home, dispatchers told officers that they could hear arguing in the background of the line, then lost contact. When officers arrived to the scene, Candace Bly, mother of missing Rogersville 5-year-old Summer Wells, told officers that Don Wells had hit her, grabbed her by the throat, and pushed her against a wall. Bly said she believed her thumb was broken, and when officers asked how it happened, Bly reportedly stated that she hit it on a washing machine when Don Wells grabbed her by the throat. Bly said the incident had occurred roughly 2 to 3 hours before the call, the report says. According to the report, Bly said they both had been drinking alcohol. Don Wells told officers that they had been arguing, but he had not touched her, and that Bly had been drinking before Wells arrived home around 7:30 earlier that night. The report specifies that Bly used her left hand to put her shoes on while officers were at the scene, as well as her left thumb to flick a cigarette. Officers said they did not see any marks on Bly's neck and did not see any bruising or swelling on her thumb. EMS on scene examined Bly and said the thumb appeared to be stubbed, according to the report. Wells and Bly were referred to private prosecution on the matter, and the report says neither were arrested, with the primary aggressor unknown. There. So, seemingly a lot to unpack. Really, there is not a lot to unpack. You can make this scenario anything you want to make it. Anything. Doesn't matter. I'll tell you this. When you stand against domestic violence and abuse in any form, what you're for me, what it means is I stand against it. I am not here to to normalize it. I'm not here to discuss the ways that people may try to twist this into the disappearance with Summer Wells. I'm not here to elicit responses or questions about it. I'm here to simply report the news. Okay? Serious question. Why is the only creator allowed to attack the Wells is Prairie Garden? Prairie Garden is constantly attacking them, but you still communicate with her. In my opinion, I feel Don and Candace need to be cautious. Well, guess what, Heavens, baby? We sure appreciate your want for them to be cautious. Thank you, Kimmy. Thank you, beautiful. I will tell you that, in my humble opinion, I do believe that Prairie Garden has just about run out her usefulness. Hey, Becky Segrest, since you are a fortune teller, I'll let you tell it. You do verbally abuse Benny. Sure, absolutely. And I've never not said that. What I have actually stated over and over and over is that I chose a job. I work in an offensive line. I am the offensive line coordinator for the Wells. What that means is the Wells being the quarterback, anyone on that defensive side that's coming with that nickel rush, that blitz, right? That cloud blitz, that cornerback blitz, sometimes you got to hurt a skinny cornerback to keep him from hurting your quarterback. So, yes, in this business, it's like the breakfast business. You're not gonna make no eggs without busting them, right? So, no, I do not condone any sort of physical abuse, but I will identify the fact that YouTube is it is a cultured environment where men can come into a community that's mainly politicked by women, and that there could be so many crazy triple, quadruple, quintuple double standards, right? So, I think that for anyone to place weight on me for something someone else allegedly did that actually isn't in a report, I think is a far step. Being assertive is way different than being aggressive. Yeah. You ever seen Floyd Mayweather try to just be assertive and keep that 72-0 record? Like, no. Unfortunately, when it comes to protecting people from the things either they do to themselves or the things that other people do to them, sometimes people are going to get their feelings hurt. Sometimes when someone comes to Benny and says, "Hey, Benny, fuck Don and Candace." Well, when I say, "Hey, fuck you," all of a sudden it's a problem, right? So that's it, Dumpster. That's it. I will tell both of them that behavior is wrong and it's not helping anything. Now, that's not to say that there isn't some issue with the way that the police are funneling this information. I don't know. I can't say a lot about it. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a prosecutor. I'm none of those things. What I can tell you is that it seems that the police handled it accordingly. Yes, Chicos. Everybody. We all need those coping mechanisms, right? A lot of people see me laugh in tough situations. Man, that's because if I don't hurry up and laugh, I'm gonna hurry up and cry. So a lot of people get those emotions confused, right? Not only that, but it's just it's an impossible scenario, right? It's an impossible scenario to imagine this scenario. Let's paint a picture. Let's paint a picture that your daughter goes missing and it's for 124 days. Meanwhile, while life in the cosmos is beating the shit out of you, what you're trying to do is not beat the shit out of yourself and your lover or your partner or your mate, whatever you call it, right? And there's no but. There's no Caucasian white woman butt this morning. There isn't. I do not condone it. That being said, there are dynamics that even I don't know about. There are dynamics clearly that are involved here that could bring the police, but then when they come, there's seemingly no abuse by the police's observation. That's not my observation. That's the police's observation. They said they came. There wasn't any marks. And nothing that led them to believe they needed to remove either or from the residence, even for the evening. Now, we know in America, most of the 50 states, domestically, anytime that there is a real hands-on or even a seemingly simulated hands-on, somebody's going to jail. Okay? We do not have a situation primed in Hawkins County where they know Don and Candace are over there beating the shit out of each other, but they're just not helping them. That's not the case. What it is a scenario that even I don't know the dynamics to. Don and Candace and their family know the dynamics and the relationship they have with the law enforcement. Now, in the event that charges are legitimately filed for this scenario, read the scenario. The scenario says there was no marks. There was no reason to separate them. So I don't know. What I'm here to tell you is that I'm not the one. Yes, thank you, Rage. If you're feeling unsafe in your domestic situation, please reach out to www.thehotline.org. Hey, Ghost, good to see you. Private prosecutor could mean civil. Certainly could. It is senseless to drink. But that's for us that know how to computate our shortfalls and our problems. And it's not just computating our shortfalls, but because we know when we're addicts and alcoholics, we don't just use and drink on the bad days. We don't drink because life is piss poor this morning. We also drink because life is great this morning. So when you're lacking coping mechanisms that allow you to resort to substances for relief, there is a more systemic issue, appropriately. But Crystal says both parties agreed to stay to the home, and the Popo didn't see a reason to intervene. DV survived. And that's a very interesting comment, and I love your point of view. I'm here to tell you, I don't agree with the last part. No DV should ever be survived. DV should be beaten. That's it. You beat domestic violence. That's it. You don't try to coax it out of your home. You don't try to lock it away in the jail temporarily. If you got the balls to put your hands on your women or your man, what you need to do is you need to put your hands on a fucking Bible. That's what you need to put your hands on, is a fucking Bible. You can call me the cursing pastor this morning. I don't give a shit. There is no winner in domestic violence. Good morning, beautiful chasing. We have the godmother of true crime in the house. Run away. Whatever you have to do to get away from it, to know that you can't beat it is the first step in defeating it. You don't want to just beat some shit, because when you beat some shit, it could stand back up and fight you again. You want to completely defeat and demoralize it. We want to be able to do the same thing to domestic violence that domestic violence does to all of us. We want to beat it down, and we want to fucking shame it, and we want to make it such an ugly issue that it will never arise again. So, that's where we're at this morning. That's where we're at. Guess what, Sal? You know what? I appreciate your opinion, but guess what? You don't wear a badge, gun, or handcuffs, or probably even, possess a less than lethal device. Really, what you are armed with is that high-powered perception you have there. Maybe he should be in jail. Maybe Candace should be in jail. Maybe they both should be in jail, or maybe neither. Can't just be Don needs to be in jail. Can't just be Candace needs to be in jail. Constance said it. She had to run away from it. Took her 10 years. She had to change her friends and everything. Let me tell you what. When you get to that point where you start beating the shit out of your own life so that you can obtain better, changing your friends and everything is the first fucking thing you do. Right next to putting down the thing that is tearing you apart. Let me tell you what. If you had alcohol and you had domestic violence, that is a bipolar issue, meaning it works of two poles. Without attacking both domestic violence and addiction together, what you do is remove one, but you always leave the other. And you cannot sophisticatedly get rid of domestic violence but keep the alcoholism, or keep the alcoholism but get rid of the domestic violence. You must uproot both simultaneously, and it's an everyday effort until you whip the shit out of the idea that you might put your hands on somebody you love. You beat the shit out of the idea that you won't every fucking day. Let me tell you what. We know self-harm is no fucking good. But if it comes to a point where you feel like you need to beat on somebody you say you love when you're not beating on them, take your simple ass outside, tie one of your hands behind your back and beat the shit out of yourself until you just can't find or chase yourself anymore. Now, I don't advocate anyone's self-hurt, but if you feel like women or men, you want to punch somebody in the fucking mouth, you need to punch yourself in the mouth, looking ass. Hoo-ah? So, that's that. That's that. No, there's nothing else, guys. If you know something, you see something, report it. Say something. You hear your neighbor whipping up on her old man, or you hear the neighbor old man whipping up on his old lady, man, you call the motherfucking me police. You don't come here and judge Don and Candace, but then got the same shit going on in your life that you let run unabated. We don't just come here and judge YouTube people about their domestic violence. Let me tell you what, Sal, you think Don did it? I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but you certainly could be biased based upon your own life events. Your situation is situated and personal to you. This situation is the Wells. Who else in the YouTube community last night put their hands on somebody they loved, but this morning when we woke up, we didn't even hear about it? Huh? You mean to tell me we got YouTubers out here putting their hands on their mother, i.e. BHB, and then you've got a sexual offender in MGL? Guess what? It's the situation that I had with Don B. Look here. Just because a famous Backstreet Boy who was 16 got to sleep with his first hooker in MGL at 22, that's not one of those. That woman sexually assaulted a boy who could not make up his mind in the stead of his parental apparatus. That boy could say, I don't like broccoli, but could never tell Molly Golightly he wants her to lay down on top of him. If motherfuckers around here want to report shit that ain't got nothing to do with them, when you see a woman come on here and she is sensationalizing the fact that she slept with a teenage celebrity, we have a due diligence to protect boys in this country too, ladies. Not just protecting little girls from sick men. Women, we too have heard your locker room talks. We know that women have filthy sexual expectations like men and everything else in the world. You can stand here and stand for something and make fun of Candace because Molly said that she had a relationship with H. Meanwhile, you have a verbal admission from the mouth of the horse that slept with the boy that was too young to make the decision, even though his money said, come on. Even though his managerial position probably paid for Molly Golightly to come have sex with a teenage boy. I'll tell you what, Molly, you couldn't have legally bought that boy cigarettes, let alone copulated and fornicated with him. This is a fucked up situation. This is a fucked up society we live in. It's fucked up. Long as it happens to little boys with penises, it's okay. Because we don't realize that little boys with penises that get hurt by women grow up to hurt women with their penises. I got my name and I got my game from a woman. Don't you know that if she wanted me to have it, I would also get my shame from a woman? Ain't no man out here can shame me shit. My wife, my sister, my mom, my T-late, any of them. Any woman in my life has the power to completely demoralize the way me as a man I feel about myself. Should be that way, right? Should be no way someone in the real world has the ability to affect the way you feel about you, but it happens at breakneck speed. We can't even change the way we feel about ourselves, but we'll allow somebody we don't even know asking for 5 cents on the corner to rearrange how the fuck we feel about us. What would I do to a man I saw beating on a woman in a store? I mean, ladies, what would you expect me to do? A lot of ladies in here would expect me to go over and do the same fucking thing to that man that he's doing to that woman. And in their mind, it makes sense. It never circles back around in a way where a woman can look at a man who beats on a woman, get his ass beat, and not understand that that right there is the reason why that fucking man probably puts his hands on that fucking lady in the first place, is because he was made ineffectual by someone in his own life. Ineffectual. One comment for a man, all right, bitch, I'm gonna beat you up, looking ass, right? And then as soon as you're like, nah, I don't want to fight, walking away a pussy for some men, feeling like a bitch, that'd be the very thing that help him identify the rest of his life being ineffectual as a beta male. See, in some men's mind that have been damaged, we think that to stand in front of a demon and get beat down, that there's great um, spiritual monogamy in that. No. Do we as men blame the woman for helping perpetuate cycles that they know silly men like us can't break free from? I mean, men are they're minimalists as far as a species is concerned, right? Men really just need their penis and they make it through life. They prop up whole civilizations under the strength of their penises. And then a woman with nothing, seemingly zero, can come in and snatch it all away. Does that really show the resonance of strong male character? Or does it show the weakness in men that he may be taken advantage of by the very thing that gave him air and breath? It should be a woman. No. I wanted to give you something to unpack as women. Let me tell you what. We know the head count, women. We know it's roughly 2 to 1. 2 or 3 women to every one man. Oh. Make that make sense, right? We're outnumbered 2 or 3 to 1, but we decide in all our best thinking that a testosterone filled presidency is the way that we manipulate women by the millions to do what we want as men. Oh, it's not Don you're mad at. It's not Candace you're mad at. It is not domestic violence laws or the lack thereof that you're mad at. Let me tell you what. Anybody watch news? Don't we all agree it should just be called bad news? Nothing good ever fucking happens. Right? But you hear about all the bad things that people do on the TV, but some kind of way you're greased up and it slides right past you. And then you come here and because you got a fucking stiff one for the Wells, if she misspells there or there, well, you're about to cut her hair. Oh. Up above the ear looking ass. I don't know. I asked Don a question last night, and I hope you guys got to see it. I asked Don, I said, Don, let's imagine for a second, hypothetically, that, and prophetically, I might add, let's imagine that the police come to you quietly and they're like, hey, Donnie, it's been a whole lot of fuck shit we haven't helped you take care of on our end, and we're sorry about that. But we want to give you the opportunity to clear yourself. Hey, let us hook you up to the box again today, and if you pass the motherfucker, we'll cut you loose. Don says, okay, no problem. No problem. It's a takeaway. It's an unpacking. See, you in your mind, you have to realize in this situation I showed you today, who is the bad guy? Who's the bad guy? Is it Don because Candace said Don choked her against the washing machine? Or is it Candace and the police because there's no marks? Or is this a testament? We're not all, we all know domestic violence has happened in this relationship before. But we want to hang a whim on a situation where the police actually said nothing happened. We're going to beat the Wells up this morning for a situation that was reported, but just not reported correctly. You mean to tell me that every time somebody calls the police to their house and there's nothing for the police to do, they always make a report like this? Do you mean the police always make domestic violence reports public to show their inability or inactiveness to make a change for them? Do we think that the fucking police are so defunct that they're like, fuck it, let's just let the Wells eat each other off the bone looking ass? Is that what we think? So if you're mad this morning, chances are it's displaced and misplaced, and it doesn't belong to the face of Donald Wells. It belongs to something else in your life that you've not successfully encountered or surmounted. You can hate Don Wells this morning for a report that came out last night that says there was no marks. That's the fucking insanity here. The insanity is that no one is ever going to ask me to talk about anything that's ever happened in the past. Only stand up against this right here today. What am I standing up against? I want to. I'm here to do the work. Show me what. Am I pissed at Don? Am I pissed at Candace? Am I pissed at them both? I mean, who am I mad at? Who? Please, women, tell me today who I'm supposed to be mad at. Because I don't know. I don't know. Now, guess what? I think the police called it right. Alcohol makes you do silly shit, especially with emotionally corrupt people involved. Neither. Understand they are both hurting. Listen, not really domesticated Nikki. This isn't like, there's no room for a devil's advocate in my heaven. I'll tell you that. What that's called is an imposter looking ass. What I'm here to tell you is you're exactly right. No marks doesn't always mean abuse, but in this situation, it does. So what you come to do is you came to compare a Major League Baseball player to a National Basketball Association player. It's two different sports. Supposed to be mad at the person who took Summer. That is a good answer this fucking morning. That's who I want to be mad at. I want to be mad at that person. I don't want to overshadow what's coming down the pike this morning. But can we have a minute just to be mad at the people that's making us all fucking mad? Blood Money Benny Keys to me. One other thing this says is the cops know they are innocent or they would have taken away every time they come. Fucking hallelujah for that. Do we think that the fucking Hawkins County police are designed just to keep Don and Candace out of jail? This is my I'll wait face looking ass. Or maybe Hawkins County just wants to see Don and Candace eat each other to death like fucking primates, fighting over a banana peel. Not even a whole banana, just a piece of the peel. Right? Is this the inner city policing tactic to watch country folks just eat each other to fucking death and then we get street justice and everybody's happy? Oh no, police say in the minds of crazy YouTubers, we don't want to do anything to help the Wells. Let's just watch them self-destruct. I mean, God willing, if they kill each other, fuck it. We got nobody else to blame. We can just say the two of them ate each other and then we turned around and there was nothing left. Oh no, man. But I tell you what, this situation isn't for me to judge. It's not. It's a situation for me to come out and voice that I don't condone this behavior. Paint a few avenues of understanding and logic, and then go on about our day. Because what we're going to break down all day today is a non-situation. It's a non-situation. And whoever keeps saying I'm a panda bear with black eyes, man, look, my shit are not black looking ass. It's just the hat or I don't know what the fuck, man, but it does kind of look like I got a black eye. I promise you there ain't no woman or man in my life beating up on me. Yep. Imperfectly perfect. That's just it. I mean, Don can't even stub his toe without the whole world knowing, right? And so, of course, if he stubs his toe, he's either got to be drunk or high, or he stubbed his toe because he had something to do with his daughter going missing, right? Nothing else. Couldn't be physics. Couldn't be the couch got scooted a little bit. Could be nothing. Has to be alcohol or he had something to do with his daughter going missing. Thank you, Izzy Pop. I know, thank you, Dumpster. I know I won't be sitting in judgment of how they behave during this impossible to handle situation. Me either. I won't normalize abuse. And I won't be made to feel pressured to talk about abuse in a situation where the police deemed there was no abuse. This is not me saying, Candace, you liar. This is not me saying, Don, you liar. This is Benny saying this is a very unfortunate fucking event where the police have said there was no marks and no bruising. So we're just mad this morning that it's not actually a viable domestic violence that we could pin against Don. Right? Do we think that it'll go to a private prosecution and the police are gonna come in and say, that was for the public. Actually, he beat the dog shit out of her. Right? Like, no, let's run him to the hilt of let's run him to the fullest extent of the prosecution. That's not gonna happen. So you got to make that make sense. And in this situation, there just isn't, like, for you to try to step in and start bullying people around to make sense out of this makes it make less sense. Have any of you ever taken a kite out to fly in a crazy windy day and you just couldn't get the kite to fly? Any of you ever had a dog that was just dragging his tongue on the ground like sandpaper, and you put some water down because you are convinced that dog needs to drink, and then it won't? You ever been a part of anything this week that completely defied human logic and you didn't understand how you got into the middle of it? That's my Monday morning. My Monday morning. Instead of worrying about what we're going to plan for Summer's birthday this month or what we're going to try to do for the family today, what we're doing is we're spending another beautiful morning talking about a situation with Don. Let me tell you what's different about this situation as opposed to all the rest. All the rest? Well, all the rest is gone. You're not gonna cry today over spilt milk yesterday, right? So if you felt like something happened in the past between them two and you didn't report it, like, you hold just as much weight as anybody else. You're complicit. Complicit. We know the last time we thought we heard Don and Candace smacking up on each other on Molly Go Lightly stream a few months ago. Remember that? Police came. Nobody went to jail. I don't make the news. I just report it. Now, this morning isn't going to be received well. Because you want to know why? Don and Candace, they're both going to respect this. They got no fucking choice. But the people that aren't going to respect it are the people who should respect it the most. There's going to be people that say, oh, Benny stood in front of Don and Candace and knew he's doing stuff like this to her. You say whatever you want to yourself because you've been believing the shit that comes out of your own mouth far before this child in this situation transpired. You've been believing your own horse shit your whole fucking life, and I am not here to come untie your tangled shoelace knot of a life. I'm not. Yeah, it's rumors saying someone that was there when Benny was and that he slept with Candace and that this is what the domestic was about. You mean to tell me Don Wells, big bad motherfucker, child kidnapping his own shit? You mean to tell me this man knew I was sleeping with his wife while I was in Tennessee and he didn't give me the what's for? You mean me and Don never knocked heads? Like two chickens scratching over feed? This shit is gross. And I mean the misallocation of human mind. Not Candace. That's not what I'm saying. Candace is not gross. The idea that you can throw Benny in the mix.
Oh, talk about your marriage commitment.
Yeah, talk about my marriage commitment. Any of that, right? You know what I would ask any of you women here or men that want to be judgmental to Don for something the police said didn't happen? You're complicit if you don't reach out to a domestic violence foundation and try to do some volunteering or throw some fucking money at the problem, whatever. If you don't do that in real life, shame on your face for coming here and being opinionated behind a little circle with a cat's nose on it. Now, I'm not cutting on anybody who has a circle profile picture with a cat's nose. And in fact, I'm looking at one right now, and it is Izzy Pop. But let me tell you, when people come in the world and it's not Izzy Pop, but they're named Izzy Pop, this ain't to harp on you, hun. I'm making a point. When people come over with the misunderstanding and hatred in their heart, and they've got a little circle profile with a cat and it says Izzy Pop, but they want the likes of me to take that shit seriously. Oh, can't do it. Not unless you're a trusted friend of mine. You can come over here and say whatever the fuck you like. Guess what? Most people might say, oh, dumpster clips. Like, yeah, I can take that seriously. I actually take dumpster clips very seriously. So, yeah, unfortunately, the non-situation has created a real situation between them. Yeah, you're never going to be good enough. Listen, God made the choice that you were good enough to have those 4 kids down in Candace, but the YouTube says, fuck that, we're taking it all back. We're here as YouTube to say that God made all the wrong choices when it came to the wells. Holy shit. In fact, we're here to say that God's plan isn't perfect. And that Don and Candace and the boys in Summer aren't exactly where they need to be right now. If you believe in God and he is your personal Lord and Savior, and that you put him in front of everything else in your life that's most beloved to you, this is an abomination. This is the sort of persecution Jesus would have went through. How many people do you think persecuted Jesus? How many? Tens of thousands in the streets? While he drug his own cross. And people whipped at him and spit at him and urinated on him. And even in those times, you know what I find so amazing is in the medieval times when people are starving and scratching to fucking eat, somebody goes on a stage and makes an ass of themselves, and what do they throw at them? All the fucking good produce they got left. Human beings don't make no fucking sense. Yeah, we're all fucking starving, but this idiot told a bad joke on stage, so let's throw all the lettuce and all the onions left. That's humans. Huh. Guess what? The all omnipotent authority has his fingers in the mix here. There is nothing actually you could say or do that's going to upset the course and the finality of this. What a lot of us good humans are trying to do for you really nasty people is we're trying to say, you're being nasty. You should stop being nasty, because every time you come here and you're nasty, you're solidifying and compounding to your own being that this is now permanent process. I now, in order to get my fix, I got to come on here and I got to fucking completely decimate the wells, Benny, chasing anybody in order to get my dopamine drop release. Some of these ladies around here, oh shit. Some of these ladies run around here on about this much adrenaline. Don't you know when it comes to adrenaline, you need about this much? It means the difference between running back in the house for grandma's photo album or staying alive outside and watching it burn. And you know what, Amy? You're right. It doesn't matter what improvements you ever make in your life, because you're always going to be judged on your track record. And that's just not the godly way. Don't we know you could be sitting on the gurney being hooked to the needle for killing anybody in the world. And as long as you breathe air, you have time to go to heaven. You only need about 6 breaths to take God into your life and to save your soul from wicked eternity. Now, that's not to say go ahead and just fuck up on good folks' money your whole life, and right before you know you're about to kick the shitter, you bring them in. Well, guess what? The sooner you bring them in, the quicker your life stops being a shitter. My life's not a shitter. My life has a bidet. Right? I mean, because if you're going to be human, you got to be as clean as you can about it. You know, there's some people in the world that will take a shower and then take a shit looking ass. But then they come here and try to tell the Wells how to run their life with their shitty booty. Clean body, but shitty booty. Don't you know you wait 10 minutes, take a shit, and then a shower looking ass. Then when you come here and tell Don how to run their business, you don't smell like boo-boo. I don't know. That's all I got for this morning, guys. Remember, I love all of you individually. Remember, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Clearly, today, right? The absence of evidence doesn't mean that Don must have done it. God bless you.